Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Introducing your hosts, Kids at Heart.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Wrestle Reel. I am your host, Nick Mantar Mulbach, and sitting right next to me, figuratively, is Chris Switchblade Lopez.
Yo, first of all, before we begin the show, thank you, Nick, for you're always so kind with the intros. But I'm having all the technical difficulties today. Of course, today, while we do Wrestle Reel live on a Friday. Is this our first time doing a live show on a Friday?
It might be on a Friday, yes. I mean, obviously, for those of you who are watching, which is not anybody quite yet, but, you know, I've got this making its rounds on the Facebook and such. You are watching Wrestle Reel. And, you know, we always appreciate everybody being here, even if you're watching it right now. Yeah, this is our first Friday live stream. We have done live streams in the past that were not live. What the hell am I talking about? I just said we've done live streams in the past that are not live. Nick needs to take a breather for a second here.
No, you're good.
We've done live streams before that are not on Fridays, and Fridays is our usual day of upload for the main show. But Chris and I both had a Friday free. Hopefully, we're going to continue to have Fridays free, and that's right. And Matt Thomas says, why would anyone want to talk about some wrestling? Well, that's why we're doing this show. And who are they? Real Entertainment? I don't know. We're just like I said. I'm just excited. I'm excited to be here to talk some wrestling with my boy Chris. If anybody is noticing right now, I am currently using a new microphone. I don't know how. I'm going to listen back later on and see if it actually makes any difference. But this is the Murphac new USB condenser microphone, the TU1. Not to promote, but Johnny and I, we're going to be doing review of these products, Murphac products, soon on his channel. Another live stream, which we use through StreamYard, which is what Who Are They Real Entertainment uses. It was another show that I got to control the StreamYard from, which was pretty fun. But yeah, wrestling, man. I have a bone to pick with SmackDown, and I was going to record like a new intro for a new segment that I wanted to do, which was just Nick screams about wrestling for 5 minutes. And my head was going to spin because has SmackDown just been confusing the living hell out of me for 3 reasons. One is the elephant in the room. I guess this would be a high spot. We'll save this for the high spots. Never mind.
Okay. Word. No,
I feel like I haven't taken a high spot in a very long time, and I probably should.
It's all yours. It's all yours, brother. You can go wild at the end of the show.
It has everything. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, you're fine. We would usually do wrestling we watched this week before we get into our main show. And I actually did watch something. I had some spare time this week, and I watched this was actually yesterday. I watched this yesterday. WWE uploaded the 2000 Royal Rumble, and I watched it. Dude, what the hell was that? Like, what?
Please refresh my memory. Please refresh my memory here.
So The Rock won. The Rock. This is the last. Do you remember that promo The Rock cut on Big Show where he's like, "Oh, we're the last two in the Rumble, and The Rock eliminated you." And the producers of the Scorpion King were like, "Oh, we got to get The Rock to be the Scorpion King."
Yeah, Big Show cries. Yes.
Yeah. So that's the Rumble that promo is referencing, and this Rumble was just weird, right?
Okay.
So you start off with I believe number 1 and number 2. Oh my god, if I can remember their names. It was I know Grandmaster Sexay was one of them.
Which was my name on here, by the way, before I changed it to Mantar. But go ahead.
It was Grandmaster Sexay and oh my god, who was the other one? Oh, D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown was so they started, and
my favorite.
Yeah, him just moving his neck all them ways. And I was like, okay, this is a solid start. 2000, Grandmaster Sexay, D'Lo Brown, and
It's very
Rikishi.
2000s.
Rikishi came in, and he was a ball of fire. But my problem with this Rumble was the lack of star power. I forget the context around the WWF at the time, but what the hell? The biggest names in this Rumble. The Rock, obviously.
Yes,
Big
Scorpion
Show.
King himself. Uh-huh.
Rikishi. That might be it. Like,
wow.
Like looking at the 30 people that were in it, I'm like, only
Nunzio
3 of them make sense.
Was Nunzio there? He's always one that I put on a high pedestal.
Like Steve Blackman was there.
I love Steve Blackman.
Edge and Christian, Chyna.
Okay,
Chyna was there. Chris Jericho.
So we're saying high spots, as in like there wasn't I read the high spots thing as I was getting ready to switch over for our first topic, but there weren't a lot of high praise superstars. I mean, Edge wasn't Edge at the time.
Yeah,
he was Gangrel Edge.
Jericho. Jericho. Obviously, he was running roughshod when he first joined the WWF, but like he was the person eliminated by Chyna. Chyna, he put her over in the Rumble.
Yeah.
So and there's always that one person, like when as before the women got their own Rumble, when the women were primarily featured in these Rumbles, it'd be like Karma, Beth Phoenix, and Chyna.
Nia Jax.
And Nia Jax, Nia Jax.
But Nia Jax wasn't really even put over. She was just kind of eliminated.
She eliminated Mustafa Ali, though. I remember that.
So that's probably why she created Retribution. So we should probably blame her for it.
I don't blame him either. But there's always that one, and Jericho is that one for Chyna. Jericho's barely in it, but there weren't too many legitimate threats. And by the time The Rock got in it, like I forget if Rikishi was on his way out, or if he was freaking eliminated before The Rock came in. So there weren't too many legitimate and obvious options, because when you watch a Rumble, you figure who's gonna win. Like, okay, once all 30 people are in, right? You're picking out, okay, who's gonna win. Their odds are Wrestle Reel Live, Taylor click in the chat.
He does have a question though. Yes, Nia did get RKO'd and super kicked by Dolph Ziggler, and like
619 by
619. She got everything, which good for her for taking that. But yeah, sorry, go on.
No, you're fine. But every Rumble, there's always those few names that you're going to pick out, and this one had 3, and one of them was out halfway through, and it was so bummy. And it maybe because the standard for the Rumble has grown so much. Like there are a few that stick out pre-2000, but really the 2000s and the early 2010s is really when the Rumble became like it was star power on star power on star power, especially the last few. They've relied on these big names, which was what the event should be in my eyes. Right. So it was just weird as hell to watch. It was one weird ass watch. I wasn't the biggest fan of how everything panned out in regards to everything before The Rock. There was a sweet I forget their names. It was it Too Cool? With Rikishi, Grandmaster Sexay, and Scotty Too Hottie.
Scotty Too Hottie. Yeah, that was going to be again my name, but it would be Nikki Too Hottie.
Yeah. You should have did Nikki Too.
Okay, well I'll save it. I'll save it.
You gotta do Nikki Too Picky.
Ooh, no, be Too Hottie. Oh, come on.
Okay, Nikki Too Hottie. Either one. So no, but I watched the 2000 Royal Rumble. I don't regret it because that was my first time watching it through. Right. But it was just like, what the hell? And especially, I'm so brainwashed by the recent Rumbles, and I have hardcore recency bias. Like the last few have been some of my favorites to watch for reasons that we'll get to later in the show.
Right.
But yeah,
you just escaped. That was
it's like the person didn't show off my phone.
Well, so, I mean, I would say though, like, one of the most interesting things about that is, did you know that The Rock was going to win it? Was that okay? See, I like watching those Rumble matches I mean, it's pretty evident when somebody is actually going to win it. But I love watching those Rumble matches where like I don't know who's going to end up.
Like
winning.
you forget, like who
I forget.
wins.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like you know, there's such a recency bias when it comes to like you know, the most 10 years of Royal Rumbles.
Sure.
Even before that, you know, I could even probably go and know the past 20 years of Royal Rumbles. But like I want to pull. I mean, we need to do a watch along of like one from like the 80s or something like that. I mean, clearly we're going to. Matt announced it on the last show for Real Talk that for the Rumble there will be a Wrestle Real Talk because Chris and I are going to be. I just figured I'd mention that because it's out there. Chris and I are going to be watching the Royal Rumble. Is it the 31st or what?
The 31st. Yeah.
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 Doing, you know, our condensed version of Real Talk and stuff like that. Anybody from Watt who wants to join us, obviously,
by all means,
more than welcome to. But yeah, I mean, clearly that's going to be an exciting moment because we can guess that it's going to be Goldberg until we're blue in the face. But you know, until it happens, who knows? But you know, that's the thing. It's like yeah, I'm with you. And yes, it does sound like a damn good time, Taylor. So if you're ever interested in joining us for Wrestle Real Talk, you know,
Wrestle Real Talk's gonna be fun. Half-hour movie news. The rest are talking about wrestling, brother.
Where we watch Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre.
Oh God!
And I'm not gonna get into the high spot quite yet, but Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns, which I think is going to be a better match than we're led on to believe.
I will save my thoughts until you
high spot.
Until you take the reins.
Well, until we get to that high spot, we have 3 topics to talk about, and one of them, for all we know, I'm knocked out 2 here, could be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. I doubt it. But let's get into topic number 1 here.
Cool.
So, one fall, Jay White, New Japan Wrestling leader of the Bullet Club himself, could be going to the WWE.
Could. And that's the magic word on all of this. So just to add context to all those watching, and you're like, what? Jay White? He's with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yes.
Or who is Jay White? Let's bring up who is Jay White first, because we have a lot of casual rest. What is Jay White? Where is Jay White?
Why is Jay White?
That one sounded weird. Go on.
Yeah, why is Jay White?
Why is Jay White? Like
no, Jay White.
That's a question.
Jay White is an independent wrestler who really made his name overseas at New Japan Pro Wrestling. Most recently, he's garnered a lot of love, winning a bunch of belts over there at the famous Tokyo Dome with like the variety of Wrestle Kingdoms. He's led the Bullet Club, one of the most infamous / famous factions of all time in wrestling history, not even just the main roster, WWE, WWF stuff. But Jay White, he is a highly sought after talent that is no stranger to North America and Ring of Honor and stuff like that. But he's made his claim to fame out in Japan, a la Kenny Omega, a name we mention on the show all the time. These guys, when they don't become the big stars they could be in America, they go to Japan and Japan loves them, and then we're like, wait, no, come back. Yeah, and pretty much. And that's essentially how it is this time around with Jay White. Now, before we continue this conversation, I am not the biggest Jay White stan. Jay White is someone who's recently been introduced to me. By recently, I mean like the last few years. I knew who this person was. Pretty much when the Elite left the Bullet Club, I found out who really Jay White is. Yeah, that was a good time to take over, obviously. Yeah. So Jay White has been running roughshod with the Bullet Club in New Japan for the last few years. Mm-hmm. And at Wrestle Kingdom 15, I believe it's 15, Jay White cut this promo about how he's going to quit New Japan. How he's quitting New Japan. And then all the rumors are running wild. Now, there are a couple things that need to be spoken of before we start talking about if our boy comes to WWE or goes to AEW. So AEW had interest when they first started up. And Jay White said no because he had apparently signed a long-term contract with New Japan. This was like 2 or 3 years ago when this happened. Now, Jay White could be working the hell out of us by saying, I'm going to quit New Japan, because everyone does that. Everyone is going to work the fans because the fans are so gullible, like me. And Nick. So we're gonna buy anything that these people say. And another thing is that New Japan took Jay White off of their active roster online.
I was just about to mention that.
So there are those few things play a part into this rumor mill. I put WWE down at the bottom of the screen, but this really could just be any North American promotion and Jay White coming back to the States.
Because he's been in Ring of Honor before. And Ring of Honor is starting to pick up steam as to being this company that people really like.
Ring of Honor, they've had such a slippery slope. Like they were at the top of the independent wrestling world for a very long time. And then WWE and AEW had that purge of the independent wrestling scene. Yeah. Around, it was late 2018 when AEW showed up, or 19? Was it 19?
It was late 2019, I think.
19. Okay. Yeah. So when AEW first showed up, WWE and AEW were picking talent off left and right, and they were killing. They were taking the bigger stars out of all these promotions, while Ring of Honor was still afloat because they had people like Marty Scurll, who was a big name himself, and then the wrestlers got Me Too'd early last year. And Marty Scurll was one of them. After he signed a long-term contract with them, he was going to be part of their creative team, and he was going to be obviously a prominent face on the company. And Ring of Honor took a nosedive once the pandemic hit. So, like Impact Wrestling, we talked about this last week with Soda. A shout out to you, Soda.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah,
that Impact was on the come up. Yes. But they were afloat during the pandemic. Ring of Honor didn't necessarily do that. They just got back, I believe, to tapings. Excuse me.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
So Ring of Honor isn't what it used to be. So when we bring up Jay White, so we can actually start talking about our boy, it's primarily AEW and WWE. Primarily. With more so leaning towards WWE for obvious reasons.
Well, a wrestler, think about it like that. A Marty Scurll, I feel like, would do better in AEW. Whether or not he ever gets that opportunity, who knows?
We'll see.
But Jay White is an interesting commodity to come over to the States and join the WWE. Now, I wonder. So let's think about this. Last time there was a huge WWE New Japan purge, I guess I'll call it. Who was it? It was AJ Styles, Nakamura, and the Good Brothers.
Yeah.
Nakamura goes to NXT, and AJ Styles goes to the main roster. Now, I understand. It is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly evident to me personally that obviously Jay White is not AJ Styles.
No.
I don't know if he would have the impact, no pun intended, I guess, that a Jay White or that an AJ Styles would have on the main roster when he debuts. You know what I mean?
Oh, God. Yeah.
So does Jay White go to NXT if he comes to the WWE, or are we sitting here on the 31st going, and you and I are marking out, and you maybe not as much, but you know what I mean? If a guy like that is debuting in the Rumble match, that's a huge deal. It was for AJ Styles. It was for plenty of other wrestlers who have made their main roster debuts. I mean, Adam Cole, Bebe, was there, though I think Kyle O'Reilly might be making an appearance. I think he's just becoming more of a bigger name in the Bullet Club because of his defenses and stuff like that. Defenses. I meant his title matches.
Undisputed Era, they've had there's been a culture change. Bobby Fish has been off TV because he got injured. Roddy and Adam Cole are now in the Dusty Rhodes tournament, which we'll get to in a little bit. But Kyle O'Reilly's been the face of that. But I would put Kyle O'Reilly and Jay White essentially. I would put them in the same boat. A lot of probably deeper, bigger wrestling fans will disagree with me, but hear me out on this. So if you were to put say hypothetically Jay White signs with WWE, that we find that out tomorrow. Hypothetically,
Hippo.
this is all
Yes.
one big if. Odds are he's staying in New Japan.
I think so.
Odds are he's staying with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and this conversation is one big hypothetical, and we're just speculating because we're marks. So we're going to speculate like crazy because we're running wild, brother. Like we're gonna do all that stuff. But if AJ Styles, we already love AJ. If Jay White were to show up in WWE, I think he should go to NXT.
Yes.
But now the conversation, I don't want to have this conversation now because we could totally dedicate a whole show to this one topic. The idea of these rosters already being bloated as they are.
Yeah,
both of them, main roster, depending on the show, and on NXT, they're all bloated rosters to the point where there's a bunch of talent not even being used that's been there for years, and we barely see them. And I mean, if hypothetically we do get a Jay White, he'll make an impact like a Karrion Kross would, like a Keith Lee would, like a Matt Riddle would. Any of those guys that made their names outside of WWE, Riddle. All those guys that made their names outside of WWE, they would come in and make a splash with NXT because NXT is the markier crowd.
Yes.
We're out here watching NXT because we're like, oh, yo, Dominic Dijakovic and Keith Lee used to kill each other in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Like that's how the fans are over there at NXT compared to the main roster. Main roster is a bunch of the most casual fans on the planet, except at the bigger shows. So a Rumble would be perfect to put your name out there like AJ Styles. Yes. How many casual WWE fans knew who AJ Styles was? I would love to know that.
Well, see, that's the thing, is there's a part of me that believes that people did know who he was.
They must have heard the name before.
I personally thought at the time that AJ, and I still think so, like out of all of the territories, out of all of the wrestlers, out of all of the shows that are literally just right below WWE, like Impact or Ring of Honor, I'm not mentioning AEW because it wasn't in existence yet. Mm-hmm. AJ is the most recognizable name.
Oh, out of the people who already hadn't been in WWE.
Because Samoa Joe was there already. I think that people would have known who Samoa Joe was. Maybe more. I don't know. I think AJ Styles is also. I changed my name to Riddle. You probably don't see that. I didn't know if you could see my name. But it's
but it's super tiny. I'm all up in my screen. Dang, I'm out here with the freaking 4K. I don't like this. I don't like how clear my
I think it looks great.
I gotta start doing all my shows from my phone now. Is that what I gotta do? But no, you were saying.
I just think that. Sorry, I had like the hiccups. I think that AJ was probably the most recognizable name out of any of the wrestlers outside of WWE. I think the Young Bucks were on the come up. People might have known who Kenny Omega was. Adam Cole obviously was still in the territories at the time. So that, but like, you know, you and I are sitting here going, we were both introduced to Jay White pretty late.
Yeah.
And we're huge wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Now we're dedicating an entire segment of our show with him, and personally, for my sake, I might never watch a match of his again if he doesn't go to the WWE or AEW. But that said, you know, I think NXT is the perfect place for a Jay White. Yeah. I almost feel like, you know, WWE is. If I was WWE. I don't know if I would waste big debuts like that while there's no crowds.
No, I totally agree.
And I understand that the issue that would come about that is that, you know, if you wait too long, somebody else might get him.
Sure.
Because I think that I'm personally still on this is a storyline in New Japan, and we're all being duped right now. and we're just making great content is all it is. But like I don't know. Who knows at the end of the day if Jay White is going to be coming to the WWE. I'm sure that 5 years ago there was a podcast doing this exact same segment about AJ Styles.
Oh,
I guarantee it. Not
Totally.
Nakamura, maybe Nakamura. His name would have been
Maybe
mentioned in that.
Nakamura. Yeah.
But and yeah, I think NXT would make sense.
I think
you know,
the main roster crowd would not know who Jay White is.
Right. And it's like
at all.
They've done that before though. And I was watching, I think it was a Cultaholic video about like wrestlers you didn't know were in the Royal Rumble or something like that. And like some of the ones that were like, Carlos Colon was in a Royal Rumble once, but nobody knew who he was because he was a territorial wrestler, and we all know who he is now.
Yeah.
And can't wait to see what absolute clown names.
We'll get to that.
Chris has one. Okay.
No. We'll get. I want to talk about clown names, but there's two of them I want to talk about in the next fall, Taylor. So don't hold your breath for too long. We'll get there.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pissed. I'm so pissed. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But continue, please, on your thought of the Rumble.
What? I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Are you feeling radical? Anyways, so like I just, I'm mad about that too. But I'm also very freaking marky about that as well.
Yeah, so am I.
So at the end of the day, is Jay White coming to the WWE or AEW? We need a Vladimir Kozlov version of All Elite Wrestling. WWE and AEW or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. Who knows? We're a bunch of marks here, so we're going to just kind of hypothesize as to whether or not, somebody's going to be coming. We could. Here's the thing. John Cena's been off TV. We could make an entire segment about whether John Cena is going to New Japan next episode, because it's just
oh my God.
Who knows?
That would it would never happen.
I know,
but
it would be incredible.
One day we can fantasy book it.
Yes, because I need that Okada match very badly.
Jeez, right.
Okay. Yes.
Before we move to the second fall, I do want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
The reason why all these rumors are running wild is because reputable, wrestling outlets, not like Cage Side Seats or who are like Wrestle Talk or Cultaholic or Dave Meltzer. They're not out here telling us Jay White's going to WWE or anything. They're not saying that. It's like these lesser known pages or websites that they are known for getting things correctly. Like that's where all this hype's coming from. If I had to put money on it, his ass is not going anywhere. He's staying with Bullet Club. He's staying with New Japan. And if I had to put money on this shit, but usually I'm wrong about these things. So if our man shows up at the end of the month at the Rumble, or if they hold them off for a few months and wait till the day after WrestleMania, that Raw would be nuts. That'd be crazy. Or SmackDown, whatever show, or NXT, whatever the hell. Right. Then okay. But until then, I'm firmly in the camp that Jay White's sticking in New Japan. But I have a sliver of hope that he jumps the Pacific Ocean, comes back here, and he goes to NXT. Mm-hmm. But again, maybe one day we can have this conversation, but the rosters are already freaking bloated. All of them are. All of them are. Like AEW's roster is bloated, and I'm not even trying to say it's just WWE. Like there's just so many incredible wrestlers going around that there's not enough spots. That's the thing with
NXT, in my opinion, is what happens when what's his name comes back? The British guy who got injured.
The British guy that got injured.
I keep forgetting his name. He wears the. He basically is the guy who I said that when they brought in Pat McAfee, he would have been in the spot.
Oh, you're talking about Holland.
He's been got. Yeah. What happens when Ridge Holland comes back?
Holland.
I mean, you bring back Karrion Kross and you automatically stick him in a program with Damian Priest. That's a problem. Is that guy didn't lose his belt, yet you're sticking him in a program with Priest because you can't because you already have these other storylines that are building up.
You already have a packed main
because
event
you
scene
have
that has, like,
incredible
5 people in
matches
it.
with Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah, even though I think that we're going to be getting Pete Dunne versus
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor soon, and I really want to see that.
Oh my God,
Now-
they're gonna kill each other.
I will pose one question for you, and then we can move on. Does
Yes.
Tama Tonga become the leader of Bullet Club if Jay White leaves?
To me, Tama Tonga is already leader of Bullet Club. You see my man's work on Twitter, like he's denouncing every other person that says they're part of a club that's not in New Japan.
Mhm.
Tama Tonga is a master of working fans, of promos, of like I love Tama Tonga. I can say in confidence I've never seen a Tama Tonga match, but my God, I love his stuff on social media.
Oh, he's great.
So to me, he is the leader of Bullet Club, no matter who the hell's in it.
Roxana, we will mention this at the end of the show. I don't know if we're predicting Royal Rumble, but we are talking surprises for both matches later on. So
Yes.
stay for the third thing if you want.
Yeah.
But that said, we're going to be venting a lot of dismay about certain things when it comes to the WWE today. And let's talk about number 2. So, Dusty Rhodes tournaments have been announced. Not only are we getting the men's Dusty Rhodes tournament,
Mhm.
but we're getting a women's Dusty Rhodes tournament, which is super exciting.
Dope. Yeah.
It is
yeah.
very, very exciting. In my opinion, let's go all the way and have whoever wins it face against the tag team champions, because quite frankly, I don't even remember who they are ever. It's Charlotte and Asuka. That's right.
That's so sad.
It's A+ tier Charlotte. But
That is so sad. We couldn't even remember who won
because
the
guess what? That's the issue with that match, though, is they're steering the direction of a Lacey Evans feud with Charlotte.
They already forgot about Asuka. The
Asuka's
second
your
Charlotte
women's-
showed up.
Asuka's your women's champion, which we almost forgot about as well. That's the issue with these NXT. I say get rid of the women's tag team division and just make it the NXT women's tag team champions. Right?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Also, pair
because-
Bailey and Dakota Kai up as partners for this.
Holy hell. No,
Bailey wants to be in the tournament. That's all I'm trying to say.
Oh, I
So
saw.
go on.
I
Sorry,
saw.
you're saying.
No, like that. We of course we want to talk about the tournaments themselves because we only have one bracket. We don't have a women's bracket yet.
Right.
But,
Yes.
But
We
two
have a picture
things.
of the bracket as well.
It's so sad that we already forgot the tag champs and it's Charlotte and damn Asuka, right? Asuka already got the shaft the second Charlotte came back.
Right.
And then I like your point of the winner of the women's tournament should face Asuka and Charlotte and take the
And
damn belts
become
off
the
of them.
tag team champions.
For the love of God, please. But before we talk about the women's stuff, the men's one already started this past week on NXT. So let's put
Yes.
that little bracket ski.
Well, here's a picture of Jay White that I forgot to put up.
It's one cute boy. But
All right,
look at
so
that.
we have some matches, yes, that already had started.
Mhm.
And let's talk about the elephant in the room. Well, first of all, the grizzled young vets, they won against Everrise, right?
Yes.
So they got them moving on. And did Gargano in theory beat Kushida and Ruff?
Did they wrestle?
I know that Kushida was somehow involved in the main event.
Gargano wrestled. What's his nuts? He wasn't in a tag match. He put up his belt. Damn, I already forgot who the.
Did he face Ruff?
No, it wasn't Leon Ruff.
Okay.
Why the hell am I forgetting who he faced on NXT? That's how you know how much I gave a shit about that. No, the only matches that we got off of this were Grizzled Young Vets and Everrise. Top left corner, we got Colton Strong versus Breezongo, and then MSK and Swerve and Atlas. Those are the three we got on NXT this past Wednesday.
Well, okay. So are we predicting the bracket here? Are we predicting a winner
We
today?
can't predict the bracket.
Because I already know who should win it. Now, let's talk about these three matches. So Colin Strong versus Breezongo. Clearly, Colin Strong won, right?
Yes, Colton Strong beat Breezongo. It was actually a really fun match to watch.
It was, but here's the thing: that's not the match I want in the first round.
Right.
Personally,
Right.
Like,
it's
that-
2 1 seeds, dude.
and then you got Grizzled Young Vets versus Everrise. It was pretty evident. Grizzled Young Vets, they're they're tearing it up. They're gonna go far in this tournament, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
But let's talk about the match of the night, in my
It
opinion.
was Dexter
of NXT.
Lumis, by the way.
What?
Gargano faced Dexter Lumis for the NXT
Okay.
NXT North American belt, and he retained.
Okay. Also, I've heard that the let's just talk about the fact that apparently the Timothy Thatcher injury is not real.
Yeah, they're working us, and he's facing Ciampa, and they're gonna kill each other. Can't wait.
Oh my gosh, yes. Let's talk about Swerve and Atlas versus MSK. WWE.
first of all,
what the hell are you doing?
Okay. So first of all, so for those who don't know, again, we're talking about these guys who are they made their name on Impact. They were the Rascals on Impact
Rascals.
Television.
I said radicals earlier. I'm very sorry.
No, you're fine. They were the Rascals on Impact Television, and then rumors were that they were signing with NXT, and those are correct. They were written off Impact Television, and they
great send off. By the way, there was an incredible send off. I watched that.
Yeah, and they made the jump over to NXT, and it was the worst kept secret on the freaking planet when this got announced, and people were like, "Who's that team up in the top right corner?" It's like, "Oh, the Rascals." Like, we're not dumb. We're not dumb. Like, I don't get it. And the two guys, part of the there was three people. There is
three people in the Rascals. Yeah, I'm a bit confused about that.
They were a trio, but only Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier got signed to NXT. Trey Miguel, he will not be in NXT yet, so we'll see. But Wentz and Xavier were the ones that went to NXT. So, okay, cool. They're going to be MSK. Who the hell is MSK? Like, okay, they're going to pop up on NXT this week. Great, dope. And then they come out for their match against Swerve and Atlas, and it's. I want to make sure I get their names right. It's so Desmond Xavier is Wes Lee.
Ew.
And Zachary Wentz is Nash Carter, and they are MSK.
Barf.
What the hell, man? What in the what, bro? Okay, I get it. You like WWE loves changing people's names. They love.
I am my riddle right now. It's pretty evident because WWE loves changing names.
But my God, why? These names are atrocious. Changing the name is fine. I don't mind the name changes as long as they're good name changes.
Mm. But
in WWE's case, how many times have they changed the name of a wrestler to a cooler name? Like
it's
one
not
of the
very
best ones
often.
I can think of off the top of my head right now. Like when Punishment Martinez got signed to NXT and they gave him the name Damian Priest, I'm like, that's hard.
Yes.
Damian Priest is hard. It's a cool ass name, right? Taylor in the chat, Vince loves changing names because he loves holding the copyright to them and what's it? Perpetuity?
Yes,
perpetuity?
And that's true that they do. I mean, it's that debate that we had with the Zelina Vega thing all over again. In my opinion, when it comes to that, is that they're all independent contractors, but none of them can keep their names that they all were known for.
No, God bless America. Well, at the same time, it's like when you sign guys like Keith Lee, he had his own. He kept his name from the Indies. Mm-hmm. They changed Dominik Dijakovic. He was, Dominik Dijak became Dominik Dijakovic, and there's so many other guys that made their names elsewhere. Who's the last guy to come in and actually own a name? AJ Styles. Keith Lee, I think.
Yeah, Keith Lee. I mean, there's a few of them, and yes, Taylor Keith Lee. There's a few of them. I mean, like, I guarantee you that if
all of them just kept their names.
If Jay White comes to the WWE, he's not changing his name.
He's Jay White. No, he'd be Jay White. Yeah.
Sting kept his name. I'm just kidding. Weirdly, yeah.
No, but I truly think that these names are atrocious. I hate them so much, and I haven't seen too much of the Rascals. Honestly, like that's just something that I don't watch too much Impact Wrestling. They made their names on Impact. I haven't seen too much of them, but
Right.
I've seen great things.
Yes.
Like, I haven't seen all their matches, but I've heard and seen great things. So going to NXT, I'm like, okay, I get to see them on Wednesdays now. Great. And they had a decent showing. Keith Lee is his actual name though, right? It might be. It might
be. I mean, Matt Riddle even came into the WWE and they changed it just to Riddle. So,
and that's his real name. So,
yes.
like, it's a case by case basis. So, this Rascal's name change is horrendous. And let's be real, the second we saw MSK, we knew it was the Rascals. They're going to come in and they're going to beat Swerve and Atlas. Not surprised. And Nick, you're probably going to. This is probably what you were alluding to earlier, but they're going to win this thing, right?
Oh, I hope so. Although, here's my issue, though. And I'm okay. This could be like a high spot, but it's not, because I'm obviously saying it within this segment. It alludes to what we're talking about. I can't get excited for this.
For the tournament?
No, for MSK.
Oh.
Because they're going to do amazing in NXT. They're going to go to the main roster, and in 2 months, WWE is going to split them up.
Yeah. Right. That's always the fear.
I feel that way about every single tag team that they have. It has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with MSK. I honestly think that MSK is going to be one of the best tag teams they're going to have in a very long time.
They're going to win the belts by the end of the year.
Yes. Whether it be on the main roster or in NXT. They're probably going to need to last a little while in NXT. But again, there's that debate as to whether that's the third brand or not. But I don't know. Like, all these NXT tag teams make their debuts and then WWE splits them up. I'm worried about the Street Profits now that they don't have the belts.
They'll be fine. Unless, God, I mean, no, I think they'll be okay. It's too entertaining to split up.
We have two things here to look at when it comes down to this.
Mm-hmm.
There is one team from NXT on here. And let's see here. We have Lucha House Party. I guess they're the NXT tag team.
They're NXT now.
Yeah. So not trying to be that guy. It's just like, I'm enjoying MSK in the WWE well I can. In my opinion. That's my opinion. WWE needs here's a wrestling resolution for the year. WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. I am just a simple Mark sitting here at my computer talking to Chris Anthony Lopez right now. But if you're going to prove to me something as a fan this year, is don't split up your damn tag teams by the time that they make it to the main roster. Use them. That is a wrestling resolution a week after we did the wrestling resolutions. Is WWE, do better with your tag teams.
Yeah, tag team wrestling in WWE has gotten the shaft for the last, decade. Like the New Day and the Usos revived it for like a year plus because they were that good, but that was really it. So like now, who are your tag champs? You got Rude and Ziggler, like they were put together tag team. You got the Hurt Business.
Oh wait, yeah, it's the
Hurt Business, and they're going to be good, but who's their competition? Just the New Day. That's it. So
are you the Hardy Bros?
Yeah, so as I was saying, my God, I hate that. My
sorry.
No, so NXT has a significantly stronger tag division, as you saw by that.
Yes.
By that tournament. Bracket.
WWE could not hold a tournament like this on the main roster.
Hell no. Like, look, first of all, can you pull the thing back up for a second? Look how big this thing is.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many, like, past Dusty Rhodes Tag Classics have had maybe 8 teams. Like, this has, what is that, 16?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, this is some real shit. And there's a bunch of quality teams and teams that make sense either storyline-wise or they're already pre-established teams. Some of them are obviously just thrown together like Swerve and Atlas, like Nice and Davari, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, they're going to be teams that are just thrown in here, but it's a 16-team tournament, and that's pretty damn cool. Like I really dig that. And
I mean,
like,
WWE made me sit here and say that a Cole Strong Breezongo match should not have been at the first round. That's
yeah, no,
how
they could have done a better job
impactful
of
that
that.
tag team match is. But that's not even my point. Is that my point to say is that like that's how well NXT is doing with their tag team division, and I understand that that is that's a thing with WWE. Is that like NXT clearly is where they have the better wrestling shows, but it's like that should not be the case. I shouldn't be looking forward to Wednesday nights every single week because I want to see good tag team championship wrestling.
No, and you are 100% in the right. And that's how. And the main roster shit they just don't know what to do with their tag teams. And NXT is where like all the good it's really where all the better wrestling's at, if we're being blunt. But the NXT stuff and
Yes.
this tournament is the huge example of that. That there's a wealth of talent, tag team talent as well. Like a lot of those teams have been getting a lot of love the past few weeks. Grizzled Young Vets, since they come back, they've been getting a lot of love. Everrise is on the show almost every single week. Even though they lose, they're on the show every single week. Like the Legado del Fantasma del Fantasma has been running roughshod with freaking Escobar. So like there are a lot of great teams in this thing. Imperium. Lucha House Party is a great team. They're just not booked well at all. Maverick and Dane and Killian Dane are entertaining as hell to watch. Kushida and Ruff is just put together because of the storyline with Gargano and Theory. But it's a storyline that's being played out during this freaking tag division or this tag tournament. So I'm super curious to see how this pans out and who the victor of this will be. I know WWE likes to give it to the popular choice. So probably MSK. Or now that Cole and Strong beat Breezongo, maybe you give it to Undisputed Era. Maybe that's your final.
Would be one hell of a final right there. Well, let's look at this board right here. So, in some of these tag teams, though, I will say is, there is one show that we're not watching as much, and I can pretty much guarantee you that we're not watching it as much. It's you and I. We like the main shows, and we like to watch NXT and AEW when we can, right?
Yep.
It's 205 Live.
Yeah.
Because Stallion and Gray are entertaining as hell, and they're from 205 Live. The Bollywood Boys, though they were obviously with Jinder Mahal on the main roster, are now thriving in NXT. Are thriving in 205 Live.
Yep.
I don't know if Nice and Daivari are tag teaming in 205 Live. They could be, and that's why they're a tag team in this thing. But even that, Adonis and Troy, great tag team right there. I want to see them face against Cole and Strong in the next round.
Yeah, these matches are going to be good. Like these matches will be genuinely awesome, and I'm stoked to see how this pans out.
Well, let's book this thing right here, all right?
Yeah, sure.
So here's the thing: is that so we know Cole and Strong win, obviously. Spoilies. If you're listening to this, I hope you're at least keeping up with NXT. You got Nice and Daivari versus Adonis and Troy. I think it's going to be Adonis and Troy. They're a great tag team.
Oh, wow. Word. Yeah, put them over. I can rock with that.
Just because, Nice and Daivari don't need this.
Sure. No, I can rock with that.
And, I'm trying to make sure that I'm thinking about the tag team that I'm thinking about really quickly, so kind of bear with me here. And I love their names. That's pretty badass. But they're another 205 Live team, though. I will say that Desmond Troy and I don't know if Desmond Troy is, but I know that that Adonis is 205 Live. But why not put them over? I think that they could put forth in the entertaining match versus Strong and Cole, and that whoever wins that match, there's no way that Nice and Daivari are beating Strong and Cole.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we got Kushida and Ruff versus Gargano and Theory. That's your storyline match of the tournament, right?
Yes.
Oh, God. Who am I putting out on top there? I would say, I guess, since Grizzled Young Vets are heels, that maybe Kushida and Ruff are going to be winning this match, right?
Gargano is your NXT North American champion, and Austin Theory has been rocking with the whole Gargano family thing.
Yes.
for the last few weeks. I would honestly, have Leon Ruff pin Austin Theory in that match.
Yes. And
have him advance
then
to
have
play
them
or
cost
to
it
wrestle.
against the Grizzled Young Vets in the next round, right?
Yeah, totally. Yes.
Because if there was a time to make Kushida win this, it wasn't when you eliminated him in the first round of last year's tournament when he was paired up with what's his name? Shit. Why am I not thinking about one of my favorite wrestlers?
Context clues, help me.
Motor City Machine Guns. I can't.
Oh, Alex Shelley.
Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. When you had Alex Shelley and Kushida facing in that tournament, and then you, that's not Chris Sabin. What am I thinking? When you have Alex Shelley and Kushida in that tournament, when they're such a well-known tag team, it just doesn't make any sense to me as to why they didn't go that route. That said, I don't think that Kushida and Ruff are much to team with each other because of the North American Championship as well. So Grizzled Young Vets versus Cole and Strong. What a final.
Left side. Yes.
I would probably put Cole and Strong over.
I think, again, this is where story comes. I don't want to say every match has to end with some kind of screwy finish where people get involved from the outside. But I think the Grizzled Young Vets need this more than UE does.
So what you're thinking is, and we'll get to them on the other side, but you think Imperium is going to cost them the match?
Maybe.
Because here's my issue is they could be leading to a storyline type thing with Imperium going over or facing against Cole and Strong at the end here.
Sure, and if that's the case, I'm cool with that, but prefer.
Let's go the obvious route here. Grizzled Young Vets in the finals, right?
Yes, yeah, they're going from the left side. Yeah.
MSK, we already know, obviously, and you might already know where we're going at the end of this. MSK obviously wins this match.
Yeah, they won. Yeah,
or they won. Yes, not to put anything, but yes. You got Maverick and Dane versus Stallion and Gray. Now this is an interesting one because Stallion and Gray are in 205 Live and are this big tag team. Or they're not a big tag team, but you know what I mean. They're popular enough.
Sure.
Honestly, I think if I had to take a hunch, the odd couple of Maverick and Dane win this match.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna go to. They've been doing all the little comedy stuff the last few months, and I enjoy it. I like freaking Drake Maverick, the best name in wrestling, and Killian Dane. So I think they'll advance. Either way, whoever wins this is losing to MSK.
Yes. So we got MSK going to the quarterfinals in that. Imperium versus Lucha House Party.
Imperium, handily.
Do you think so?
Okay, not handily, but I'm confident. I'm confident in Imperium.
Would you have two heels in the next round? Because well, or do the Bollywood boys upset? Let's say it because I know
Legado
you say it.
del Fantasma.
Fantasma, yes. Yeah, I like the way you say it more than I do.
You got my phone again.
I was gonna say. I'm watching this from my computer and I can see Chris lean back and his phone just goes falling into his lap.
I forget my headphones are corded.
So yes, I think that the Bollywood boys maybe the Bollywood boys. Oh, now I'm knocking over my mic. Jesus, we're a mess.
We are a mess at Wrestle Reel, baby.
The Bollywood boys, I think, are going to win this match, and then maybe the heels beat them up at the end or something like that. That kind of feels like this type of a match.
Sure.
Because much as I love, I'm very bad with names today. As much as I love the NXT UK, the rightful cruiserweight champion Jordan Devlin, thank you. What's his name is doing fantastic.
Santos Escobar is killing it.
Yes, he's doing great. Fantastic. Now, Because I would just love to see Lucha House Party face them in the next round. I know that obviously is a pipe dream at this point because Imperium definitely is going to be facing against MSK in the finals. Right.
Yes.
So MSK versus the Grizzled Young Vets. Who do you got?
MSK, dude.
Yeah, it's got to be MSK.
It has to be MSK. It has to be. I'm not even kidding. Like, as much as I would like to say, like, like Grizzly Young Vets got a shot. I mean, you debuted this hot ass tag team that already has star power behind them. You gave them whack ass names. The least you could do is give them the damn cup or trophy at the end.
T-Bar and I'm just kidding. I'm thinking about Retribution right now because of how bad those names are. Which, by the way, I'm kind of. When do you think? And we obviously have to talk the women's match a little bit. Obviously, after this, I feel like we spent so much time talking about this.
No, and that's why I put it in here, or I wanted to mention it because they made a big deal out of announcing a women's Dusty Rhodes tag team classic, but there's no bracket. We don't have it. We just started getting official teams this past Wednesday. Like we got Kaden and Casey Catanzaro against Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon.
Yes.
So like I think that's the only matchup we know for sure that's happening, which is kind of a bummer because there are a lot of great and Candice LeRae and Indie Wrestling. They're also going to be a team in this thing.
Which again isn't really much of a surprise.
Yes.
And on NXT we could get the bracket.
Yeah, and this upcoming Wednesday we get a bracket. Fantastic, and we
can talk about it next week.
We'll come on the show again next week, and we'll finish that bracket. But
and it's like then, I didn't want to obviously just go without mentioning it because that men's side is going to be interesting, and I do want to pose a question to you: is when does this become more than just NXT? Now I understand that it's the NXT Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, but I personally think that they're going to need women from the main roster to fill out that side of the bracket. That's just my.
I think they'll get them. I think they'll get some.
That said, like Retribution, this would be the place to put them, at least for a match.
Who's going to be that other spot? They only have one lady.
Well, no. I meant like just in this type of a tournament.
Oh, yes, totally.
To do something with them that's not like you could have Ali. You could even just do T-Bar and Mace or something like that. Mm-hmm. And just have some representation and actually give them some time to shine.
Yeah.
Because if you look at this, and I hate to keep going back to it, they're a C-level team, and they probably should be lower than that. No offense to them.
Yeah. God.
Mustafa is probably going to go on Twitter and rag us right now, which would be great for the show. So
if he
or T-Bar is going to cryptically tweet at us right now.
T-Bar is going to steal our finisher. Like that's what T-Bar is going to do.
And if T-Bar can steal our finisher, if T-Bar could randomly during a match scream, then that's the bottom line because Stone Cold says so. Good on him, right? But it's just like, and to me, that could be a way to start building back up this tag team division.
No, yeah, I mean,
like a Heavy Machinery obviously didn't end up winning it, but like they were in it last year, right? And that was where we knew Heavy Machinery, like these types of these showcases. They're doing it
to ruin them, yeah.
Well, and I forgive me if I'm wrong, Roxana. This is a comment from a while ago. You see the WWE pay-per-view on January 26th. It's the showcase, right? That she's referring to. The thing that Jinder Mahal is going to be a part of.
Oh, yeah. It's in India.
Yeah, they need, because that NXT India thing that rumor's been going on for a very long time.
Yes.
And good. I mean, if we can continue to branch off into territories and stuff like that, I personally, and I just think that Jinder is too good of a heel to not put on the main roster. But it's just, I want more. I will preach this until I'm blue in the face just because I'm worried about MSK and I like MSK a lot. WWE, do better with your tag team division. That's all. That's all I ask. It's a simple request, right?
No, like it ain't hard, and like NXT, like just although the NXT, like the women's stuff, they'll sort it out over the next few days, and they'll probably show us some stuff on the bump or whatever,
right?
Before NXT, but the main roster needs to do a better job of your tag teams, and these tag team classic tournaments every year showcase why. Because look at all this incredible talent doing tag team wrestling. We love tag team wrestling NXT, and we do, and we love tag team wrestling. And this is what we're getting at. Like, this is what we're getting. 16 fresh teams, just men. Imagine the women's side of things. And I know Sasha and Bayley, the golden role models. They went to NXT for a little bit when they had the belts. That hasn't happened since. So I want to see more of that going forward as well. Like go to NXT, get the belts off of Charlotte and Asuka, put them on somebody else, and have them go to NXT and have some competitive matches. Or like what you said to start this segment, give the belts to NXT and keep them there for a while.
Yes, because again, they mean nothing on the main roster, but neither do the tag team championships. It feels. I mean, recently I think that the SmackDown tag team championships and even the Raw ones a little bit have been put more on a showcase, more on a pedestal with these incredible performances out of the New Day and the Hurt Business and over on the other side. I would say, the tag team match from Survivor Series was a standout match.
Yes.
But that's besides the point. That's our tag team rant. Let's do something more fun. And let's talk some Rumble.
Damn it.
Wrestle Reel's favorite Royal Rumble returns. We love the Royal Rumble here at Wrestle Reel. We love it.
Right.
We love it. We don't love the throwaway matches, but we'll get to that later. But we love the Rumble here at Wrestle Reel.
Nick, when we first started this show, we both said to each other, like, the Rumble's our favorite pay-per-view of the year because of the match. The matches, like the Royal Rumble matches are some of the most entertaining matches of the year.
Yes.
And it's fact, not only because it's a showcase of the talent that's already on the main roster, or in some cases NXT. Now that we have the women's match, the women get to do their own Rumble every year. The unpredictability of the winner is something that, like the last few years, it's been like, who's gonna win? It's been up, and there hasn't been an obvious winner in a couple of years, which is great. But now, my favorite part, or one of my favorite parts of the Royal Rumble, are the surprises.
Yes.
Right. Like there are some big surprises, and I know, especially like last week, we had chatted about a couple of them like over the last few years, but we wanted to focus on the returns. So just to preface, this person had to be with WWE or WWF, WCW in some way, shape, or form. Like, so AJ Styles wouldn't necessarily count.
Right. No. A main roster, a debut does not count on this list.
Yes, or like Ronda Rousey at the end of the Women's Rumble a few years ago doesn't count. Like as cool as it might have been, her pointing at the sign for a while. Like we're not.
That was a bad segment. I will continue to say that until it had that Roman Reigns, AJ Styles debut effect to it.
Yeah. But we're talking about returns. Our favorite, not the best. I mean, some of the ones that we're probably going to mention are considered the best, but our favorites that stick out to us individually, and we may have a lot of overlap, and that's perfectly fine. Nick and I agree a lot. We have a lot of similar tastes, so of course we're going to have some overlap. Yeah, so just to.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're good. Do you want to start, or did you want me to go ahead? I have a few written down.
By all means, my friend. I just interrupted you by playing Goldberg, so.
No, you're fine. So what's it called? I'm gonna start with a fun one, not one that's talked about too much. So the year 2013. All right, we're gonna go back to that Rumble, and this was a point in WWE where they didn't know what they were like. It was weird. It was a little wonky period between the end of the Ruthless Aggression era and the new Mark year, the Marktastic WWE that we're living in now, right? So this Rumble was started off by Dolph Ziggler, who had himself one hell of a 2012, and he retired an awfully beloved wrestler in 2012, and a great storyline that put Dolph Ziggler over. But then, as Ziggler came out as number one in the 2013 Rumble, the lights go out, and then Chris Jericho's music plays. The guy he retired last year, and he comes back with his jacket, and he's all, "Let's go, baby!" Like all the like babyface Jericho is the shit. And I talk about it like talk about popping before I knew what a pop was. Like that was me, right? I freaked out because I love Chris Jericho for better or for worse, and him coming back as number 2 in the 2013 Rumble was pretty damn dope. It was really, really cool to see Jericho come back in that sense, continue that storyline with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Although Jericho's the newer Jericho runs are hit or miss depending on who you ask, and some people may say that run was a miss. But how it started, to me, it's pretty kick-ass. So that 13 Rumble, Chris Jericho, I at least want to mention that one to start before we get to the heavy hitters towards the end.
Okay. Everybody talks about Big Daddy Cool Diesel returning at the 2010, I think?
11.
It was 11, okay. The 40 man.
Yes.
The 40 man that I wish that they stuck with. No, I mean, I do.
Okay. Word.
Just because I like the idea of more people being able to showcase their talents more than anything else. But not everybody, I mean, it's on the lists, but not everybody talks about when Booker T came back.
Oh, word. Yeah.
And I was thinking about this earlier while I was thinking about my list at work. I'm going, I put Booker T on a damn Survivor Series team and passed up on a bunch of other wrestlers. I love Booker T. I'm putting him on this list because, like, you know, mixed with like CM Punk's reaction in the ring, like, oh no, oh God. You know, Booker T looked to be in incredible shape. Like, I was like, Booker T could win this and headline WrestleMania right now. I love Booker T. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, just in and out of wrestling. You know, I just think he's a great personality as well. But yeah, Booker T, man, you know, it brought him back for more of a on-screen role than anything else. I remember when he became the SmackDown GM, when he was an announcer. None of that would have happened without Booker T coming back at the Royal Rumble that year, and I marked like crazy.
Whenever Booker T comes back, you can just tell how beloved of a character he was, whether it was King Booker, or just regular Booker T. Like he's an awfully beloved character, and although in the WWF, WWE, they haven't treated him the nicest since WCW. He's still just as beloved as he was 20 years ago. And that's just a testament to Booker and how incredible he was with what he was given. So 1,000%. People always talk about the Diesel one, but that Booker T one's dope too, from the same Rumble. It's the same year.
They do. And, you know, I hate to be this guy. The Diesel one just did not mean as much to me. Like, I get it.
It was definitely a nostalgia choice.
Yeah, and I think that what came afterwards kind of pissed me off a little bit more with this whole CM Punk feud and stuff like that.
God, yeah. That was months later, too.
It was cool to see him come back, but the Booker T one just meant more to me, I think is what it was. So Booker T is one of my favorite Rumble returns of all time.
Okay. Now, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. 2015.
Okay.
The 2015 Rumble was a mess. You give Roman Reigns the W and you boo The Rock. That is Philadelphia for you in a nutshell.
Oh, the worst.
That Rumble will go down in infamy as the one time The Rock has gotten booed in the last 15 years, right? Because every time The Rock comes back, he gets cheered like a mofo.
He's
raising the hand of his
no,
family.
like,
Not The Rock couldn't save the segment. That's how you know you messed up. So you gave Roman the win.
yes.
And that takes the spotlight from that run, or that's the story coming out of the Rumble. But something that happened awfully early on was with The Miz and R-Truth in the ring. Your number 3 competitor in that Rumble, I believe he came out as number 3. If not, I stand corrected. Bubba Ray Dudley came out at the 2015 Rumble, and this was before him and Devon would get back together and have their little run with WWE.
Yeah.
But holy shit, you're gonna have Bubba Ray Dudley come back in Philadelphia, where ECW made its name and it was their claim to fame out there, and the crowd went ballistic. I'm not the biggest Bubba Ray fan, but at the time in 2015, where I was slowly becoming the wrestling mark that I am today. I'm like, they had such a big reaction to it. Yeah. And I was familiar with Bubba Ray, obviously. Like, it's hard to not be familiar with him if you're a wrestling fan in some capacity, because he's been all over the place. Mm-hmm. But I was like, whoa, it's Bubba Ray. And then the crowd went ballistic.
Oh, well, that's the ECW crowd.
Like, yeah, and they stick out to me. Yeah. And it's really, really dope. Like, I love going back and watching that pop. Plus, they did the spot with R-Truth and The Miz. Like, it was really, really cool. Although it didn't last long, he was eliminated not too long afterwards. It was a great pop, and something that sticks out in my brain where the WWE's music plays and Bubba Ray comes out just all stern and stiff, but you can tell he's just soaking it in, because he knew what the hell he was getting himself into, and the disappointment the fans had when Devon didn't come out afterwards. But I mean, it is what it is. That match was it was doomed to fail regardless, but it was not Bubba Ray's fault. Bubba Ray, that was a kick-ass pop by them.
I agree. Okay. I'm gonna say an obvious one. Well, okay. I'm gonna get Edge out of the way right now. Both Edge returns.
Oh wow. Okay, let's do it.
Both Edge returns were fantastic. Because I have a feeling that you're probably gonna say mine. My other one. So both Edge returns, man. And I'm gonna specifically say the second one. Because I wasn't even thinking it was gonna happen. It was the first time in a very long time that I was watching wrestling live. I had my phone literally, like, I think I was over at Lou's house. I started to watch it. I turned on my phone and was driving home with the Rumble on in my car. I have not shared this story yet. I mean, I didn't get into an accident or anything like that.
This is news to me.
I'm driving and I just hear, "You think you know me?" I'm like, "What? What?" Just kidding. No. I had a Mark moment in my car when Edge returned to the Royal Rumble. And like that like my cousin doesn't necessarily watch wrestling as much as he used to. And that even had him tweeting, like, I remember him from my childhood. Like, Edge returns. Such a big deal. An emotional moment for WWE fans. The first time it happened, it was really cool. Don't get me wrong. And he won the thing.
Yeah, he came out at 30. He won, and he went to main event WrestleMania, which would be his last.
It would, and it wasn't even a main event of WrestleMania, by the way.
Main event WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was the main event of WrestleMania. Thank you, Drew McIntyre, for bringing that stigma back.
Yes.
But, man, when Edge came back at the Royal Rumble of 2020, the year of our Lord, as you say, we talked about it with Soda last week. Yeah. Shout out to Soda. Always shout out to Soda.
Damn right.
We talked about it with Soda last week. Edge coming back was a moment of 2020, let alone anything else. And that was an overall return. But the Rumble moment was, I've never seen a man deserve the emotion that he was feeling so much before in my entire life.
You can tell he was going to start crying.
Oh yeah. Oh, for
Like,
sure. Yeah.
Like,
And
it was some real shit.
it was a beautiful moment for us wrestling fans and Edge to share together, because you knew that he wanted this for a very long time. And kudos to Daniel Bryan for coming back and making that possible. I'm just going to say that. But yeah, Edge returning at the Royal Rumble of 2020. And was it 2013 he came back? Something like that.
What Rumble?
The one
The
that
first
he won.
one? 10.
Yeah. 2010. Sorry. The 10 years apart. 10 freaking years apart. 2 surprise Royal Rumble win or entrance.
Because 13 was Cena, if I'm not mistaken.
To face The Rock. But
oh god, yeah.
But it's like, man, nothing was better to me than Edge coming back in 2020 and being the freaking shockmaster, shocking the entire freaking world. When he came back at the Royal Rumble of 2020, it was just beautiful, and I loved it. And I'm so happy to have Edge back in wrestling. And he could come back again. I wouldn't necessarily put that on the list, but sorry. Go on.
No, you're good. Both of those are fantastic. Like, I remember watching the first one. No, I didn't watch. I heard about it on Raw the next day because your boy wasn't getting pay-per-views at the time.
Yes.
And I heard about it on Raw. I'm like, oh, like that's nuts. Or I might have watched it. I don't remember. But I just remember being like, yo, like that's crazy. Edge back going to WrestleMania. He eliminated Chris Jericho and Batista and all that.
He did.
Cena, like that. He was one of the final 4 too. Like that was a memorable Rumble for me. I like that 2010 Rumble a lot. And the 2021, it's just, I think the moment was... It hits different.
Yeah, it does.
I remember, I will never forget watching that and simultaneously while you were like, ah, I was on campus at Indiana State. I was watching it with a few friends and we all were like, ah! We were all freaking out watching the thing. It was crazy as hell. And yeah, although he didn't win, he had a great showing in it too.
Yeah.
And it was not 9 years away from wrestling. Mm-hmm. And we thought we weren't going to see him again in a ring and compete. And now here we are. And maybe he'll come back at this new one. Who knows?
Yeah, but like I said, when he comes back, you're not...
It won't be the same pop.
I think that like another thing that was so important about this is just kind of remembering the context of it. I mean, COVID-19 struck us a month later, at least, right? 2 months later.
COVID-19, it shut everything down 2 months later. Yeah.
The crowd was there to see Edge return.
In Houston, in a packed baseball field.
Yeah. It would have been beautiful if Edge returned tomorrow or at the end of this month. It would be beautiful. We would all be sitting at home and our heads would explode, just like they did. That said, to have it in front of a crowd was, and that's why, again, I'm a bit worried if they're going to return people, if it's going to be as impactful as it has been. But like the surprise entrances this year are going to probably be more NXT people. Like, I think we might see like a Damian Priest or something like that make his main roster debut. Yeah. As opposed to, seeing somebody that we will get really excited about. Because unless they want people talking on social media, which it would spark that, don't get me wrong. One of the things that excites me about wrestling returns is like the crowd's reaction, Yeah. All right. Give me another one of yours, buddy. Give me another one of yours.
So I have 2 more, and one of them's probably the one you're... there's one notable one that sticks on everyone's brains. It's not Edge. Before Edge's, there was one. There's that one return that people are like, "Oh my god!" And I'm pretty sure that we will end on that one because it's pretty. That's if we're thinking on the same one, which we probably are.
We for sure. I've already got my prop ready. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So we'll end it with that. But my last one I want to mention before we mention the big one is 2018. A great Rumble, by the way. 2018's Rumble was fantastic. Nakamura won that.
2008. Yes. Nakamura won.
Yeah, Nakamura won that Rumble. It was fantastic. It was a great showing for the winner, Nakamura, and a lot of Finn Balor.
Yes.
Cena, Orton. Like there was a lot of great moments in that thing.
I had Finn Balor in a pool actually as my pick, and I was about to win some money because he was in the Final Four.
Yeah, is that shit crazy?
I did win money that night because he was in the Final Four. Now that I think about it,
hell yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
But there's someone that came out. I want to say that came out as 27. That's my guess for the number. But out of fucking nowhere, no one could have predicted this. If someone's like, "Oh, this person's gonna show up," I'm like, "You're a damn liar, damn dirty liar." Rey Mysterio came back to WWE.
I forgot that was 2018.
That was 2018. He, after years of being away from the company and running roughshod in joints like he went to all these bingo halls. He was running freaking Lucha Underground. Like he was all over the place.
AAA.
Yeah, he was running AAA. He was just all over the joint, right? Rey Mysterio, he had an indie run and he was doing pretty damn well. Like I loved seeing Rey Mysterio do that indie stuff. But WWE always felt right. And when he returned at the 18 Rumble, he still took a brief hiatus. He wasn't back yet. But he made his presence known on WWE television again. And this was like fit Mysterio. He came like he was lean and mean, and I'm like, what the hell? Who is this man? Last time we saw my man, he put on some LBs and he had the little singlet on, or the singlet gimmick on. But it's like, yo, Rey Mysterio coming back at that Rumble was unexpected. Talk about unexpected return. Like Edge, the one we're gonna mention in a second, Mysterio to me. Like I was shook when Rey Mysterio showed up. I'm like, what?
Aren't we all?
Like it was wild, and the crowd there lost their damn minds too. I lost my mind at home or wherever I watched it at. Like it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts, and I felt like I had to mention it because it was so recent. And I think since Rey's now back in the company full time, like people forget about it. But our boy came back in 2018, and he made his presence known. He's like, I'm still a good ass wrestler. Don't forget it. I'm the best cruiserweight of all time, Rey Mysterio.
I could not agree more, my friend. It is forgotten. I completely forgot about that. And it was a good Rumble. That was a great freaking Rumble.
It's one of my favorites. It's up there.
Yeah, because Nakamura winning was one of my favorites.
Him eliminating Roman Reigns had me tripping.
Yeah. And Asuka winning that year, that was just a good pay-per-view.
That was
overall.
A great show. Damn, it's a great show.
Asuka eliminating Brie Bella or Nikki Bella in order to win it.
It was Nikki, of all people.
But okay, so I'll set the stage.
Yes.
What a cool set for a Rumble, anyways. Right, that set was amazing for the Rumble. 2008.
2008. Yes.
This wrestler tears their pectoral muscle, is on the shelf for what is supposed to be such a long time.
Over around 9 months.
Around 9 months. Number 30 comes around, and we're thinking, it's going to be like, what, Big Daddy V or something like that? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and a special wrestler comes out.
And his name is John Cena!
Sorry. I pulled that up as you were talking about Rey Mysterio.
No, you're good.
Sorry. So John Cena
go crazy.
John Cena comes back at the Royal Rumble. I gotta get my chain on. And John Cena comes back at the Royal Rumble. It is such a beautiful moment. For a guy to come back when he did was amazing, right?
I know we talked about the Edge thing, right? Like not too long ago. Like he was away for 9 years. But before Edge, the one that really blew everyone out of the water was Cena.
It was.
And like Cena was on top of the world at that point. He was the star. Like he was cheered, he was revered everywhere he went. And when Madison Square Garden, By the way, talk about great sets. Like the Rumble matches at MSG, kick ass. Like it's a little tiny set, no Tron, or the 08 one had a Tron, but the 2001 also at MSG did not have a Tron. So like it's a little tiny set. You pack the bitch up with people, and Cena comes out at 30 with that kick ass hustle, loyalty, and respect shirt with the dog on the back.
I love that shirt.
I love that shirt too. And the crowd loses their minds. If you weren't a Cena mark, you were one that night.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
Absolutely.
And it was spectacular because at that point, in the 08 Rumble, Triple H was looking like the victor.
Yes.
Triple H was in the ring. He was beating the shit out like Umaga or something. And then like, doo, and then Triple H is like, huh? Like, what? And then bam, right? Cena comes out, whoops the shit out of everybody, eliminates Triple H. Doug, and then he goes to WrestleMania. To face, yeah. So
does Triple H. I wanted Cena to win that match so badly. It wasn't even funny.
The what's it called?
And then Triple H won.
But
that was such a Cena mark.
Yeah, nothing could take away from that moment, though. That's a pillar in Cena's career. He cut his recovery time in half, less than half, and he came back and shocked the world. And 2008 was a big year for Cena. And WrestleMania 24, that was that's another great just show, and the Rumble from that year led into that. Mm-hmm. The 08 Rumble is one I rewatch frequently. That's one of my favorites to go back and rewatch. Not only because of Cena, but because of the things we saw before that, and just to name drop these two guys that came back, Jimmy Snuka and Roddy Piper.
Yep,
came back at that show too.
That match against Chris Jericho. Funny enough.
Yeah. So that freaking what's it called? That Rumble was great, and Cena's return at that Rumble was spectacular. And nothing like when we look back at Cena's career, whenever he officially retires from wrestling, he stops, and we look back at Cena's big moments. It's like, yeah, ruthless.
That's going to be up there.
Yeah, we will look at that Rumble return up there with ruthless aggression, up there with winning 16, up there with literally anything he's done in the last few years, because he's been that good last couple of years. So I love seeing his return. It was so good.
Before we end this segment, before we get into the high spot, I have an apology to give to Chris Anthony Lopez for almost losing our Facebook stream there.
Was that the case? Did we almost lose our Facebook?
Well, what happened last time? A little story time, because I don't think anybody knows about this. The first Wrestle Reel talk, and we have to be careful about this the second time around when we do it for the Rumble.
Yeah.
Barely hearing the Undertaker's entrance music in the background of Chris's TV, mm-hmm. lost us our Facebook stream, and I totally just played John Cena's entrance music. I'm like sitting there like, oh shit, he thinks we're gonna lose the stream.
If we lost the Facebook viewers, we apologize.
No, we did it. We're still live on Facebook. Nobody is watching on Facebook right now, but we are still live on Facebook, brother.
Good. That's all I care about.
But yeah, I totally realized that like after the fact, I'm like, hold on, wait, oh god, I almost just lost our Facebook stream. That's it. Good. I am looking forward to many, many years of Royal Rumble returns. Hey, perhaps maybe we'll be at one day together. That would be so much fun. We'll just be marks from our chairs.
Yeah.
We need to talk about Friday Night SmackDown, something that you're about to watch in 15 minutes. Like, I mean the fans at home, unless you're watching this next Friday, which you might still be watching in 15 minutes, maybe an hour and 15. How's your day been going? All right. We need to talk about the elephant in the room with Friday Night SmackDown.
And the winner of that match will go on to face Drew McIntyre for the W.
Go wild, brother.
SmackDown, what are you doing? It's just, oh my gosh. There was three things, and I can't remember the first thing that I wanted to talk about because I planned this high spot out while I was at work. I don't remember what the first one was, but let's talk about the elephant in the room for two things. WWE, what the actual hell are you doing with your Royal Rumble match this year? What are you doing? What are you doing? And just pardon me for a second, because I need to look at this picture right here, and I need to figure out who the hell I was thinking about earlier, please. Apparently it was nobody. I have no clue what I'm talking about right now. Oh, yes! Is Apollo Crews a heel now? Like, what the hell was that? Why do you have him smack Big E Langston? I called him Big E Langston. He hasn't even been called Big E Langston in a very long time. What are you doing, WWE? Why? Is Apollo Crews a heel now? Is Big E a heel? Because there were some pretty heel-like things towards the end of that match. Not gonna lie. Let's talk about the gauntlet match later on. SmackDown, you're the A show. You are the A show in Chris and I's eyes. We love you. But why are you making our boy, one of our favorite wrestlers of all time, Shinsuke Nakamura, have such a good showing and then have him lose to freaking Adam Pearce, Drew McIntyre? I wasn't able to scroll up in the right amount of time to play.
And the winner of that match will go on to face Drew McIntyre for the
Was this deserved of a push? Did it make Vince laugh so much, like the freaking Titus O'Neil tripping moment, that he pushed him? He's like, "Oh, your brother, you made me laugh, brother." Sorry, I'm being Chris Anthony Lopez and making everybody Hulk Hogan, but you made me laugh, brother. So I'm giving you a WWE Championship match versus Roman Reigns, even though it's for the Universal Championship. I am all over the freaking place with this thing right now. Also, we are on the high spot. We are not on the third fall. Jesus, WWE, SmackDown, you are the A show. You are the A show. I am hoping that in 14 minutes, Shinsuke Nakamura is given the title shot he deserves, and not Adam Pearce. Though, I think that Adam Pearce is going to put on a better match than everybody thinks because he was a Ring of Honor champion. And WWE is out there posting some Ring of Honor pics on their friggin' Instagram. Shout out to WWE for that. That was pretty cool. Remind people that Adam Pearce was actually a freaking wrestler before he became Drew McIntyre.
You okay?
I don't know. Maybe.
That's how I get hot every time we do these high spots. Like every time you see me get hot, I get all sweaty and stuff. Like that's not.
Oh,
I'm glad you did it this week.
I was sweaty before, but yes.
Word. But just to acknowledge what you just said, right? There are all these reports saying that SmackDown was looking for a baby face, and they found one, and they didn't have him win the gauntlet match on SmackDown. Nakamura beat Mysterio, King Corbin, and Daniel Bryan just to lose, weirdly, to Adam Pearce, technically.
The handshake at the end of the Daniel Bryan Nakamura thing was freaking
great
art.
And in less than 15 minutes, they're going to have Jey Uso versus Shinsuke. So Shinsuke is not getting lost in the shuffle by any means.
No.
But the fact that this is one of your biggest pay-per-views of the year, and both of your big title matches consist of guys who haven't wrestled at high quality in years. And although Adam Pearce has wrestled more recently, like those pictures you mentioned, he's a former NWA World Champ. Let's not forget that. So he can definitely put on a match. How long is that match going to be? That's up to how long they want to have Roman squash him.
Yes.
So
he's 42.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not old. We've seen older wrestlers compete for longer.
Bill.
But yeah, Bill, Taker, H.
Bill versus Taker. Ugh, sorry.
God. So yeah,
they versus Taker and Kane versus
Michaels.
Was that Adam Pearce? I'm just kidding. Go on.
No, God. So no,
it might have been Adam Pearce.
The Adam Pearce stuff, it's weird. It's so weird because they've made him like this pseudo authority figure, but he's not an authority figure. But he's the one speaking for the authority figures, and I don't get it.
Strange because like.
Who proved him getting into the gauntlet match? Because Heyman just told him that he was in it. And I know it's cool because now all the Adam Pearce marks, so all these indie wrestling marks are like, yo, Adam Pearce can go, which he can. I don't doubt that. But it just doesn't make any sense because this is not going to go anywhere.
No, and I'll bring this up because it's an interesting fact. There are well, it's not a fact. I guess it's a rumor, but still, there are rumors that Sonia Deville is taking over his spot, and that she's going to be the authority figure. And perhaps she made this match a thing, or
maybe
she put it in the gauntlet match
because she's like his assistant. That's how they wrote her back in, which makes sense.
So and what I wonder is Adam Pearce going to be wrestling full time again, or part time?
I don't. It depends, and it all depends on his showings in the next couple of weeks. If he gets physical with Roman, then I'll have more hope. But if he has to get physical with Roman by the time that the Rumble is live, I'm not going to buy into him wrestling more this year. Maybe he'll wrestle more, but at this point, I don't buy it.
I wonder. Do you think he's going to take off his shirt at the Rumble? He's going to be like shredded now.
I don't think he'll be jacked.
Because remember when? Oh God, what was it? I only remember this because Jeff Hardy. It was the WWE magazine with Jeff Hardy as the editor, where they can go through and scribble in whatever they want, whether it's actually them or not. I don't know. And Armando Estrada faced against Colin Delaney in a match, and the dude is freaking ripped underneath his like suit coat that he wears all the time, and I'm like, holy crap, where'd that come from?
It's like, what the hell? And that's the funny part about total side tangent. Like a lot of the refs and managers and WWE history the last like 20 years, like they're like they go to the gym just as much as the wrestlers do, you know?
Yeah.
Like just because they're not competing every single week doesn't mean they're not freaking chiseled like a freaking Greek god. So no, but this Adam Pearce Roman Reigns thing is definitely not fun. I like it more than Goldberg and McIntyre. I will say that in confidence. I'm not looking forward to either one. I will say that also in confidence.
I'm intrigued, but I am looking forward to Pearce and Reigns. But I think that I'm jaded because I wanted Nakamura to be there. And maybe I don't think Nakamura is winning the Rumble, right? Like,
no,
it's not going to happen again. Probably.
I forget who asked in the chat our Rumble picks. We've talked about them, and I guarantee we'll talk about them more over the next couple of weeks. Like our picks might change. I've said in confidence Bianca Belair is winning the Women's Rumble, so I'm not worried about that. The men's one's still up in the air to me. I don't know.
If I was going to go different than you, though, I do think Belair's going to win. I'll give it to what's her name from NXT.
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
I'm very good at names today. I really got to. I got to drink coffee before this.
You're good, brother.
I give it to Rhea Ripley, just to be different than you, because I think that Bianca Belair versus Sasha is going to be great.
And I hope they pull the trigger on it. But the men's one is tricky.
Goldberg. I'm sorry, I don't want it to be, but I think it's going to be Goldberg.
So he's going to lose the title match and go into the Rumble and win that.
Yes, at 30. And he's going to face Roman at WrestleMania, even though it should be Nakamura. It's going to be another reason why Nakamura should jump back to New Japan.
Damn.
It's disappointing. Nakamura should have been world champion by now. He should have been a world champion by now. Yes. They're doing nothing with him, nothing that's memorable except for this gauntlet match, which is supposed to deliver him a push.
Am I being? I don't want to. Am I being? What's the word I'm looking for? Fuck it. Nakamura might hold gold this year, and I know that the Roman will be champ for a while, but I think they're going to build Nakamura back up to the point where he can jump over to Raw and beat McIntyre.
Yes,
or Keith Lee, or whoever.
You know what I want out of this Nakamura run? I want them to build him up as the ultimate, even though he's not the ultimate underdog. I want them to build him up like he is, to get him back to where he needs to be. Make him be when Keith Lee eliminates him as the final person in the Royal Rumble. I mean, if it's not going to be Goldberg, I still think Keith Lee should win. That's just my opinion. Because I don't want it to be Goldberg, but I'm still on the if it's not going to be Goldberg fence right now, just because I seriously think it's going to happen.
I think so too. As much as I hate it, I think I texted it to you the second I found out McIntyre and Goldberg were going to be a thing. I'm like, he's going to lose and win the Rumble.
And AJ Styles, I think, should face Drew. That's just me.
I think Keith Lee will be in the in the WWE Championship match regardless.
But I've heard that they've been planning a triple threat match between McIntyre, Keith Lee, and Brock for the longest time. And that's where I have been on the Keith Lee winning. Now, Brock could return and win the Rumble. We're not talking about Brock winning the Rumble. But if he does, if he does, at least it's not Goldberg.
I mean, at least it's not. I'm still pissed. I'm still watching the show on Wrestle Reel talking. I'm pissed.
Oh, I can't wait for our reaction. It's probably going to be isolated and uploaded somewhere else. Just gotta be like,
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be so distraught. God bless America, and I'll whine and complain about it over the next few weeks, and we'll lock our picks on the last show. Excuse me, before the Rumble. We will lock our choices. We're not going to do the whole. It could be this. And we'll sit on this for 2 weeks. We'll come back on the show and we'll lock our picks.
Has Brock ever won the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, he
has. Okay, because I was gonna say if he hasn't, I would lock in Brock right now. No, I'm still locking in Goldberg, but I would say that Brock's a close second. It's two people that I don't want to win it, but Keith Lee is still that guy that I want.
I don't think I'm telling you, dude. My brain's not mentally prepared for a part-timer to win the Rumble this year. I'd rather oh my god, I'm not physically prepared. I'm not mentally prepared. My body isn't ready for it. I'm pretty sure if Brock eliminates Keith Lee to end it, my wire might just pop out of my mouth. Now,
Brock eliminates Keith Lee. Ooh, that.
But I know we're going to talk about this to death over the next couple of weeks, so I don't want to get too ahead. Not going to get too ahead of ourselves, but Pierce and Roman, and I hope they just do something creative with it. You've been doing such a good job with Roman up to this point. Now it's the first big question mark I've had in this whole new heel run.
Yeah,
and I want to see how it pans out, and if it goes past the Rumble, or are we killing time until the WrestleMania build with Pierce? I wonder how that's going to go.
If that's the case, then I honestly think that's more solidifying the Roman facing Goldberg.
If that's the case, then. But before we end the show, Nick, did we forget anything? Are we good?
I think we covered everything. I just
for now. Until
I don't want to end it on such a somber note, but it's like, hey, everybody who's watching right now, flip over to Fox, enjoy SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because we finally did our goal. This was Wrestle Reel's goal all along, was to do a Friday show that led right into SmackDown. And for the two people who are watching, and one of them might be Taylor Cleek, go watch SmackDown. But that said, we have fun doing the show every single week. I hope we can go back to being live again next week if we can. With that, my name is Riddle, a.k.a. Nick Mulbach.
And I am Chris Switchblade Anthony Lopez. You can catch us on our socials somewhere. At the bottom. You can catch me at the bottom of the screen.
Scrolling at the bottom. We have, plans for 2021. Get more guests on. Get more wrestlers on. Interviews. All kinds of different stuff. Talk some wrestling with some wrestlers. We're just going to have, this year is going to be the year of Wrestle Reel. And thank you so much for coming along on the journey, as always. Enjoy SmackDown, everybody. If you're watching this leading into SmackDown, you finally can do it. It's the most exciting thing in the world. Thank you guys and gals and Mantars out there. We thank you so much for watching this show. I'm Nick Mulbach. This is Chris Anthony Lopez. We're the kids at heart. Thanks for watching. I'm stalling because I still haven't loaded up the ending of the show. And good night.
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold